I think the last thing I have to say that belly dance community has to wisen up, has to start. I know they face a lot of difficulties. There's not enough music now. The choice of music is very small and difficult, and it puts them in. It ties them up because it's all very electronic, and it's cheap singing and shabby and all this rubbish. Though shabby is very cute in its own way, but there is a lack of music. Another thing is they really have to know what this music is about, because they don't really know what the music is about. They don't understand the music, or they don't understand the structure of the music. Therefore, they cannot have a good structure in the dance. Another thing, some places, I was watching a pseudo Saidi. By the way, it's a pseudo Saidi, which is already a pseudo Saidi, because we are not doing the Saidi dance, we're doing the theater dance. We're doing Reda, nothing to do with the Said. So they are pseudo, I mean, they're like a knockoff of a knockoff of a knockoff, okay? And then they're dancing to a music, and I said to myself, what's this music? And thank goodness the guy next to me, an Egyptian boy, he said to me, Madame, this is Libyan music. It's from Libya. So they're so disconnected with the music. They have no idea. They just listen to the a reed thing. They don't know where it is, if it's Lebanese or Syrian or from Morocco, or they didn't know, and they thought it was Said.
You went to UCLA. What did that give you?
You have no idea how it was. First of all, I want to write an article about it. When you go to do postgraduate, you're usually finished your university, you got your degree, and you want to get on with your higher and then your career. But I went after I finished my career. I was 43. And I was so lucky to go to this beautiful program, which I think has changed now. Some wonderful pioneering professors there. And the program was dance ethnology. And so when I was listening and writing and learning, and then I would say, oh, okay, that's what we did. All right, now I know. So it had another flavor. I was mature. I wasn't looking for a career. I didn't want to say, okay, let's get on with it. I just want my MA, I want to go home. No. I was enjoying it. I was savoring it because I was already finished. This is just extra information to. And so things started fitting in. And one of the things that really, really, really was helpful for me was, of course, in the end I had a general picture, a very good picture of what was going on, because I knew that academically and theoretically. My practical life was put in place. It was like, putting everything in its right place. And then there was a class I didn't enjoy very much because it was 8 o'clock in the morning. And I have a bad back, and there were no chairs, so I had to sit on the ground, because it was practical. It's called effort shape.
I'm sorry, it's called?
Effort shape.
Effort shape.
Effort shape. Wonderful, because you start to understand the kinds of efforts you're using and the kind of shaping you're doing. So, are you punching, or are you slicing, or And when I started teaching, I said, okay, because I stopped for 10 years with my mother. Then I said, okay, to put the effort shape, use the effort shape in teaching the dance. It helped me so much, and it helped the students so much, because straight away I could tell them things about gathering or spreading or spread, you can start describing movement. So you can say far reach, and then imagery, how to use the imagery, and how to close and open, things like that. And strong, light, heavy, things like that. So it was helping in my teaching.
When you were taking the course, were you actually contributing to some of the students?
In university?
Yeah, because you were what they were studying, basically.
No, not really. No, because they're going right to the indigenous dance. No, most of it was no. I was there. I went not to Farida. I went Milda. It wasn't until Cairo knew, and it was like slowly. Are you famous in Egypt? I say, yes, I am. Are you the one that is saying, yes, that's me. I went with my birth certificate and my BA name, and I went as an Egyptian woman. So I was like incognito for a while.
But Sahra's
and I decided, well, I'm a student. Now, if I'm a student, I'm a student.
Yeah.
This is it. I have to be a student. Yes, I was a 43-year-old student, but at least I was a student. I behaved like a student.
And do you think you got over the withdrawal of the endorphins?
Yeah, later on, because I stayed 5 years in America.
Oh.
Yeah, 5 years. Because after my MA, I wanted my husband, God rest his soul, he was a wonderful man also. He said, no, take a PhD. Please come back with a PhD. And he used to come to me every 3 months and go back.
Wow.
And he said, I hate planes. I don't want to go in an airplane anymore. But I went, in the first quarter, I went to history department. No, before the history, I went to theater arts. And I talked to the professor there, and I said, I want to write about theater. Did I say theater arts? Yes, theater.
Yeah.
No. This is it. First place I went to, you see, what's so wonderful about American universities? It's just amazing. My statement of purpose that took me to the dance department allowed the anthropology department accepted me. The history department, the theater arts department accepted me, and the history department. The three of them accepted me. And my friend there, she said, this never happens. It's because when I wrote my statement of purpose, I mentioned that I had co-founded the Reda dance troupe, and I was the first dancer of Egypt for 35 years. And so, okay. So I went to the anthropology department. I found I would have to stay 10 more years. So, thank you. So I took myself off to the theater arts. And I took the doctor there. I sat with him, and I said to him, I want to write my PhD on theater dance, between brackets, the Reda troupe. So he said yes, and then after a while I found him telling me, what about political theater? And I found myself, and then I found myself writing papers about Chekhov and the Faust, and I was getting unhappy and depressed, So that was the first quarter. Second quarter, I went to the history department, and I enjoyed it. But I had to go through requisites, which meant I have to go through the democratization of I don't know what, and the democracy, and the this and the that. And I said, politics, and a Mali. At that time, the Egyptian pound inflated, and went to be £3.37 each dollar, £3.37. I went, the dollar was 80 piastres. So I said to Ali, I think I have to come back. He said, yes, I think we cannot afford. Because I didn't go, it was my money. I mean, we were spending, I didn't use the government or anything.
Yeah.
So I came back with an MA and finished. Because the dance department didn't have a PhD. It stops at MA. And now I think they've changed it into something called world culture, and it's not the same.
Yeah, it's not pure.
But it was a wonderful experience. Because I was a mature woman, and everything I was learning, I was putting in its, a jigsaw puzzle.
Yes.
If I may,
Yes?
2 more questions.
Go ahead. Yeah,
Now he's
it's
interviewing.
all right. Yes, yes. No
So, you talked about with the Red Troop that you didn't experience the obstacles.
I didn't, as a human,
Yes.
as myself, I was spoiled.
But now, after university, after your mother, you start teaching, you start also wanting to express yourself through choreography. Did you experience obstacles then?
Well, I'll tell you, when I first came back, I wasn't planning to do anything. My husband was alive, my mother was okay, and I was planning to enjoy my family life. And then Mahmoud was having problems with the ministry, and then he went on pension, and he asked me if I would be the manager of the Robi. So the minister said yes, but he didn't want. There was a lot of dirty politics. So I went to be the manager of the Robi Troop. And then, lo and behold, the doors of hell opened on me. And I spent a year, the worst year in my life. At that time, it was 91, and my husband got sick. And I took a holiday, paid holiday, 3 months. We went to Paris and he died. So I came back. I had a court case against because of the terrible things that happened to me. That was the end of, that shows you. I mean. And my husband died. My mother started getting sick. And I found myself going into another world that's not as bad as the hell I was in, but bad, dark. And I stayed there for a long time in this dark feeling. Losing my husband was not easy. It was another, they say that you grieve for 3 years. It's not true. I grieved for 7. I remember they were 7 why. Some lady friends of mine took me to a lady here who does Reiki. And it was, I know for certain, it was that day that I came to terms. That Reiki I did, and what came out of me at that session was when I came to terms with losing my husband. So it wasn't easy. And then slowly I found myself very busy with mommy. So I said to myself, okay, what do I want to do now? My mother was a very interesting woman. She was British. And that's one thing, very educated. Secondly, she put up with my father, who was a genius, very difficult sometimes, very difficult man. When you're married to a genius, I mean, you have him in the house, it's like, okay, because he was really a genius. And I said to myself, and she was very witty, very sharp. I said, I'm going to enjoy her. It's just the last thing. So I said, I'll look after her and enjoy her. This took 10 years, exactly. 9 years. Looked after her, she got older and older and older, and I was looking after her, and I was fulfilling myself with looking after her, okay? And savoring her at the same time. Whenever I have friends who would come. I have a friend in the States who used to bring students from Rhodes University. They come to Egypt and they would come and sit with her. She would talk and they were amazing. The Southern Americans were, yes ma'am and no ma'am. And, okay, and all that. And so I enjoyed her, and then when she died, 96 years old, I started to travel here and there, teach. Yeah, but I've decided I'm not going to teach anymore. Actually, no. Because first of all, my back is not good, and my ankle doesn't want to get better. I twisted it last year in Vienna. So I said to myself, I want to stay walking. I don't want to end up in a wheelchair. Yeah.